just like a boat upon a winding river, swiftly towards an endless black sea.
I am experimenting here with a new technique because it is 5:19 p.m. in 3rd North Residence Hall's 3rd floor South Tower study lounge, the big one, the studio, coming live to you. It is 5:19 p.m. and now that means in New York it is pitch black outside, which is weird. And usually when I come in here, I just use the lighting of the windows to have lighting in here. But I could turn on the lights, but I decided not to. So I'm doing this in the dark. So I hope someone comes in here expecting to be able to use the study room and they see me recording and talking to myself. They should give it a minute and just listen to me talk to myself. That'd be pretty funny. But yeah, this is 1 week of President-elect Trump. I went back and listened to last week's episode, and there's some funny parts in there. There was one in particular, fuck up. I don't know who listens to this. I know like people that talk to me about it, like my close friends listen to this, or they tell me to listen to this, but I really don't know who listens to this. I know it gets some views. That isn't just me refreshing the page trying to make sure it plays right. But I know it gets some actual views. So like, I'd be interested. Like, if you listen to this, just like let me know. Just because I want to see like, what kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of people from my life listen to this? Because as far as I'm aware, it's just people that I talk to a lot. But if there's people that I haven't seen in a while that listen to this, like, I kind of want to know. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, I was listening to last week's episode, just skipping through, making sure that the audio was right. And there was this one little part that I noticed, because I don't edit these at all. I just talk for however long I can. Try to make sure that there's something to say. I don't just talk and be like, hey, I think that's about it, but I just wanted to talk a little bit more. No, I went back and listened to it, and I happened to get to the part where I was talking about my buddy Chris from outside the 12 a.m. at the Den on election night. I was telling the story about everything that was happening, and what did I say in the podcast? I was like, my friend Keese, which is this super fucking black guy, is what I said, and I was like, holy fuck, and I remember like, I thought I said my friend Keese, who is this super fucking funny black guy. So that was some horrible, I don't know if that's like a Freudian slip that, I don't know, just I'm apparently horribly racist, but I don't even know what that means. What does super fucking black mean? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it right now. I need somebody with me here if I want to make some jokes about that shit, because someone's gotta save me if I'm gonna try to do that shit. I don't wanna go down that road without having someone play good cop to my bad cop. Otherwise, this is just hate speech podcast. This is a hate speech podcast to begin with. This is where I vent out my disgusting views about what's going on, and no, it's not a hate speech podcast. I feel like if the wrong person found it, it would be perceived as that though. But I don't want to talk about going to mics and shit and jerking off. Like, is that hate speech? No. I never got a chance to talk to Maria. Maria texted me after, I guess she listened to the last one, the one I talked about election day for a while, and she was like, oh, you got some of your politics wrong. And she's actually studying politics at FSU. And she's right there in the city by the Capitol and stuff. But she was gonna, school me on my politics. But we never got a chance to talk. But I'm sure it'll happen eventually. I'm going back home next week, which is great. I'm going home in 2 days, actually. 2 days. Friday, I hop on a plane and get back to the NPR, the 727, which I'm excited about. Although I love New York, I am excited to go back home for a little while. I don't know how it's going to be, though. I happen to be in a really good mood because Abhishek and I were walking through the park right before I got back, and I saw some doggies in Washington Square. Every time I see doggies, I feel so happy. every time, because I miss my doggies, and every time I see the doggies running around and having fun, it just makes me happy. That's why I need to be around my doggies, and maybe I won't be such a miserable fuck all the time, you know? But I haven't been in a good mood, but it's gonna be rough going home. I mean, I'm okay, because, like, I'm okay, but it's probably gonna be pretty melancholy and rough for everybody when I go back home, because, you know, my grandma died yesterday, my dad's mom, and it wasn't like I didn't cry. Maybe it just hasn't hit me yet, but I didn't cry because well, for me, she had Alzheimer's, so she's been gone like emotionally for me for a pretty long time. So it wasn't really like a really painful it wasn't like a really painful sudden loss for me. I felt really bad. I felt really bad for my dad, but I was really glad everybody, you know, well, except for me. I'm really glad that everybody got to go see her. They sort of, you know, she got sick, and they took her to the hospice, and the hospice nurses were like, she doesn't have long. She's starting to breathe heavy, so everyone drove out there. My mom took off work early, and my sister got out of school early, and they drove out there, and they're able to be with her for the last couple hours, which is really nice. But yeah, it's miserable. But I'm really glad that my dad got to go out there, because that was one of the biggest things that, I mean, fuck, my parents, that was one of the biggest problems with my parents' early relationship, was because my dad's dad died, I think I was two, maybe even one. We were living in San Diego, so I was probably like one, but we were living in San Diego because my dad went out there for graduate school after he met my mom in college, and then that's where they had me, in San Diego. And my dad's dad got really sick again, and lung cancer, and my dad went to go see him when he got really sick in the beginning, but he was doing okay. So my dad was like, well, you know, if anything happens, I'll come back right away. And my dad came back to San Diego after flying out to Florida to go see his dad for a little while, and he was maybe back home in San Diego for a day or two, and he passed. So, and that was one of the biggest, you know, regrets of my dad's life. I mean, that just tormented him for such a long time. So I'm really glad that he was able to be there with his mom, and everybody was around her, and she went peacefully. Because everybody, you know, and another thing for me, like, was like, you know, I think that, I mean, she's not, I mean, for so long she was like, you know, confused all the time, and she was like in pain, and it was not, she didn't look like she was like, you know, happy at all. And that's just so fucking, Alzheimer's is fucking evil, dude. Alzheimer's is evil. Like, just going over there and her not having any idea who I am and stuff is just like, I didn't like going over there to see her. Like, I felt like I had, it was more like a slow loss. And for the last couple months, it was like, you know, she wasn't even there. She wasn't even grandma. You know what I mean? That's what I was telling my cousins, who were like really, really upset and sad, and I get it. And I was like, well, you know what? She is in a better place now. And for the last couple years, like, she wasn't herself. Like, when was the last time grandma, like, slapped someone upside the head, you know what I mean? And asked them what the hell they were doing. You know, she did that to my dad so many times when he was, that's what he said, when he was young and fucking reckless and crazy. She smacked him on the head with a coffee mug numerous times and asked him what the hell he was doing and why he was hanging out with stupid Dave. Like, when was the last time grandma was her... when was the last time grandma was herself? So, no, I'm happy. It was so peaceful, and I'm happy that everybody was there. I think the funeral is going to be Saturday or maybe Monday, and I'm glad I'm going to be able to fly out. I'm glad that I'm going to be able to be there for that, at least. I mean, my first funeral, I mean, I guess I'm pretty fucking lucky that, you know, 18 years and I've never been to a funeral. But, you know, we could pay her respects and everything, and you know, I think she wants to be cremated with my grandpa, my dad's dad, because that's how he did it, as he went cremated. So, you know, well, it's it's not fun, but like I said, I'm really glad that the circumstances of that particular day happened the way they were, and everybody was able to be around her and everything. Because the last few months were really bad. She was in a lot of pain. She was really confused, and she was in and out of hospice all the time. So I'm really glad for that. I really am. So yesterday was a little wacky. I was just sort of bummed. I said, I didn't cry. I was just sort of, bummed and downtrodden the whole day. And I did end up going to do some stand up though, which was good. I actually wrote a set about because I was feeling pretty. I wasn't feeling great, so I decided, I wrote some jokes about grandma and all the stuff that grandma used to do, and I was going to do it on stage. I didn't end up doing it. I just sort of wrote it to write it, and just something to do, something to pay my respects. You know what I mean? But I did end up going up anyway last night and doing some other stuff, and I ended up going, well, it made me feel a lot better just doing something that I liked. It feels weird to tell, like, to say, like, I told jokes and stuff that day, but, like, I wasn't, for me, it wasn't a horrible, a horribly painful, sudden thing that, like, I was, knocked off my feet for, you know what I mean? Like, it was a very long and painful process, and like I said, I'm really glad everything happened yesterday the way it did. I wish I could have been there, but as long as everybody else was there and they were around her, it was really nice, from what I hear. So, but yeah, yesterday was a little weird. Today's also a little bit weird, but like I said, I'm doing okay. I'm just happy that she went out in peace, with everybody around her, with all her family that loves her around her. And I'm glad that I can come back for the funeral. I'm glad I happen to be coming back on Friday. So yeah, that shit fucking happened. That shit happened. So I don't know how everybody's gonna go from here. I know a lot of people. I don't think my dad was a mess, but and his sister was a mess, but I don't know if Rob or Ray were too like I think that they were a lot like have the same sort of emotions I did, where they were like really bummed out, but it wasn't like a sudden thing, because I mean, like I said, like the relationship that I had with her had been gone for so long, you know what I mean? Like she wasn't herself, and it was something that was really painful for me to go and visit her, because it wasn't her, she didn't know who I was, so it was really sad. Of course I went over there anyway, and told her I loved her and stuff. But I mean, Alzheimer's, it's horrible. My mom's aunt had it as well. Alzheimer's is fucking evil, dude. Eating away your memory and stuff. Like, that's who you are as a person. Like, your memories and your experiences make you who you are. So it's really fucking evil. That's the thing about modern medicine, is that we've gotten to this point where our medicine has gotten so good that we're able to keep our bodies alive for so long that now it's our minds that are deteriorating before our bodies, which I don't think was ever really a thing back before we, had this medicine, where we're living to, we're like 80s and 90s, I think is around the average for a lot of people. So yeah, it's an evil disease. But I'm glad that yesterday happened the way it happened, and I'm doing okay. I'm excited to see everybody, excited to pay respects, and finally, be able to enjoy and celebrate, and not have it be like a really sad thing all the time. Like I think that I wouldn't call myself a super religious person, but there's been a lot of things lately that have been making me more and more, because, I'm 12, 13, I stop going to church, and I start thinking I'm like any other fucker on Facebook who thinks that he's somehow a genius for thinking, well, it doesn't make sense that there'd be a guy up in the sky, as if they're the first person to ever conceive of the idea of atheism. So they post about it on Facebook and call religious people stupid for believing in something. And like, you know, I've always, you know, considered myself pretty agnostic. Like, I don't really know. You know, I don't know either way. I don't necessarily subscribe to all the things that happen in the Bible or, you know, in any text. But, you know, a lot of times I do really feel like there's something out there. And I'm not someone that is very religious, being that something controls everything. But at the same time, I am, because I'm one of those guys that really deep down has a strong sense of purpose and destiny, even though that's silly to say, but like I generally feel that everything happens for a reason, in all aspects of life. So lately, I've been really considering the idea of religion and God and stuff, and there's been a lot of things that have been happening in my life lately that really have made me consider like good things and bad things, like this was a fucking horrible way to go. Alzheimer's. It's hard to believe, you know, that would be allowed to, if there was something controlling everything, it's hard to believe that would be allowed to happen, to have someone have to go through that, because that's terrifying. I mean, not even just for the people around you, but for you to not know where you are and not know who the people are around you. That's fucking horrifying. It's just so evil. So yeah, but other than that, like, I think I mentioned before that my dad got in a couple car accidents. He isn't driving anymore, thank God, but he got in a couple car accidents in the past couple months, and the fact that he's okay and that he like walked away with some minor bruising and stuff is so, like, I'm so grateful that. I gotta imagine that there's something out, because I mean, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's silly to say, but I do constantly have that, you know, question all the time of belief in God and stuff. So I like to think that there is something. So at least now she's at peace, you know. At least now she's at peace, and hopefully she's, you know, with her husband or running around with whoever knows how many fucking little Maltese dogs she's had over the years. I don't even know. She loved those goddamn things. Those little white dogs with the long hair that she always used to tell me. She's like, you know, their hair is just like humans' hair. It's just the most human-like hair. And I always remember that from when I was little. So she's up there running around with all her doggies and her husband. So that's really. It's a really good thing to think about. I think that even if it doesn't make any sense scientifically or logically, I think that just as a person, I think it's really, I think sometimes understanding everything 100% isn't good for happiness. It isn't good for living life. You know what I mean? I mean, the fact that any of us could die any moment is not something that we keep on in you know what I mean, in our present thought process. We don't, oh, I could die right now, I could die right now. No, we have to bury that shit. You know, we all have to think that, you know, there's some sort of purpose for what we're doing, like and I think that religion is a really nice way. I don't like the way that it's been used in the past. I don't like that it's sort of been abused and used to, you know, control people, but and that's you know, the atheist argument for a lot of people is that religion is just meant to control people. But I think that there's also a lot of comfort in believing in something. That's, you know, another thing atheists do is that they mistakenly say that, of course, it doesn't make sense. What do you mean you believe in it? Are you stupid? And they assume that it's a stupidity thing to believe in something. But that's the whole thing of faith, is that you believe in that faith against all odds. That's the whole fucking point of what faith is. So I don't know. I just have a problem with people that think that they know everything. I've always had a problem with people that think they know everything, even though I'm kind of a know-it-all sometimes. I'll admit. That's why. So yesterday was disillusioning. When I found out she passed, I was in film school. I am in film school now, but I was in one of my film classes, and it was just such a waste of time. And we were just. What they do is they just I just wanted to get out of there because I got that news, and I was just miserable even before that. So then it was even worse. I was just sitting through this class, and I realized that all film school is they just name drop all the big names that have come out of their school, to get people all excited, and then they try to convince these people that there are like that's what the one guy says is that he's like, you're artists. Like, no, they're not. And he's like, you gotta find it. You know, I'm sure you may need to find your voice, or maybe some of you have already found your voice, but your voice is very unique and it needs to be heard. I was like, no, no one's voice needs to be heard. Nobody's voice needs to be heard. You know, maybe you have an interesting enough voice that maybe someone will give you a chance and listen to your voice, but no, for the most part, especially these fucking 18-year-old kids do not have anything important to say. No, I don't have anything important to say. I go up on stage every night and talk about being a virgin and having a small dick. That's literally what I do every night on stage. No one needs to hear that. So, I mean, film school, and then, you know, this is something that Al and I have come to a consensus that it seems like every film class we have is just them trying to convince us to stay in film school. It's like, see, this is why film school is worth it, because, you know, like, this guy went here, and this guy went here, and this guy, I was like, okay, dude, like, we've all, like, at least people that are a little bit worldly have realized that film school, for the most part, is a waste of time. But we're not here for that, for you to convince us that film school isn't a waste of time. Well, I don't really believe that. Here's what I think. I think that film school isn't a waste of time, but it definitely wastes your time. It wastes your time a fucking lot. But I've already seen the benefits of being here and meeting really cool people. And if I was just here for film, it would be pretty miserable. But I'm really fucking loving the stand-up right now. Stand-up has been going great the past week. I've done, I think, 2 mics, and I have been... the 2 mics did not go well at all. Both the mics fucking sucked. But I've been doing the show at the Den. A couple of those didn't go so well. But, you know, I'm doing it every night, and that's some solidity there, is that I have, or stability. I have that thing every single night that I do at the Den at 12 a.m. So, I mean, it's been going well, and I'm just loving people that I'm meeting. I'm having so much fun. Tuesday was yesterday, but Monday was a crazy night. Monday was crazy. I can't believe all the shit that happened Monday night. I was at the Den. I went to Bark, and then I was there. But before I went there, I ran into this guy Joey that I met a while ago, near around the time of the auditions for the sketch groups. And I met Joey there, and he was this other stand-up comic. I couldn't really get a read on him the first time I met him. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I didn't know. And then I saw him a little while later at the Pit, and he was really funny, and he saw me, and he thought I was really funny, and we sort of fell out of contact for a little while, but we talked initially a good amount, and then I ran into him on the street just randomly Monday night on the way to the Den, and we had a good 40-minute conversation, and we just maybe 30-minute conversation. We just caught up, and we just talked about stand-up, and he was like, oh, actually, shit, I'm gonna talk to you, this lady that's been mentoring me, and tell her that, you know, I'm gonna really recommend you, and then you can call her, and, you know, you can talk to her and see if she wants to, you know, take you under her wing. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, oh, yeah. And I looked online, and she was like, you know, she was one of the first mentors for Galifianakis and Gaffigan and a bunch of other people that came to New York from whoever knows where and just didn't know what the fuck they were doing. She was sort of like the mentor for these guys that really wanted to be comics. I'm sure there's so many other people that didn't end up being anything that she mentored. Not saying that, but it was really, I was like, oh shit. And he like texted her about me and gave me her number, and he's like, well, she's probably not gonna be able to talk to you tonight, but, you know, just leave a voicemail and tell her about yourself, you know, maybe a minute voicemail. And I called her, and she picked up, and I was like, oh shit. And we talked for about 45 minutes to an hour, and it was a great conversation, and she's gonna take me in and help me out. What she does is it is a paid thing, but it's not something that I want to do all the time. But just to have someone that knows me and is able to give me some comments. So the way it works is every Wednesday there's a comedy room where it's this lady's name is Gladys Simon, and she does this comedy room at the Comic Strip Live, which is up on in the 80th Streets or whatever, something like that, way uptown. and not way uptown, but uptown. And she, comments. She records every set, and she will watch it, and she'll go over it, and she'll call, and she'll talk to you about your set and what you need to do, and she'll give you some tough love. But it's $14, and you get a drink, and you record on DVD, and you get her to talk to you for about an hour about what you're doing. I was like, oh shit, once I have some material set up, like once I have something I'm pretty confident with, I'll go on that Wednesday and have her talk to me about it and see how I can fix it every once in a while. And I thought that would be really useful. And then on Friday, there's depending on how you do, she might put you up on the show, which is with audiences, and it's the same thing where she'll record it and she'll talk to you about it, and you can bring some people to that. And I don't think you have to pay the $14 for the bringer show, but if you bring people, I don't think you have to pay. I don't think they have to pay either. It's just like, to test your shit out. If you had a good set, she'll let you do it. And so yeah, I mean, it was a great conversation. We talked a lot about me. We talked a lot about her. We talked about a lot of people that she's mentored, and it was really good. She was funny. I think I made her laugh a couple times, but only by only by being self-deprecating. That's really the only way I can make people laugh when I first meet them, is by letting them know that I know that I'm a piece of shit. So yeah, it was a crazy, and I told Joey, like, oh shit, she picked up, and he's like, oh god, and he called me immediately. He's like, how long did you talk to her? I was like, 45 minutes. He's like, oh shit. So it was a good conversation. I think I'm hanging out with Joey on Thursday. He's gonna bark with me at the Den. We're gonna go smoke some weed, and Friday afternoon I'm gonna get on my plane and leave for the 727 and go home for a week and hang out with some people, and see my family and go to the funeral and eat some turkey dinner. But aside from that, also on Monday night, crazy, ran into Patrice O'Neal's I don't want to say widow, but longtime girlfriend and girlfriend that he had when he died, Von DiCarlo. And it's fucking weird that I know that, and it was weird that, because when I met her, I was like, "Are you?" And she's like, "What?" And I was like, "Are you?" And she's like, "Von DiCarlo." I was like the Von DiCarlo, and she's like, "Yeah, I mean, is there any other?" And I was like, and I was just fucking, I was starstruck, and it's a weird thing to be starstruck about, because she's not famous enough for people to be starstruck. But I'm such a big fan of Patrice that it's like, I knew who she was as soon as I saw her, and she's like, "Well, who are you?" And I was like, "Michael Miller," and she's like, "Mike or Michael?" And I was like, and she's like, "Mike or Michael?" And I was like, and she's like, "Okay, Mr. Miller." So, I was a fucking weirdo. And as soon as she went in, I was like, to Jimmy, I was like, "Jimmy, is that fucking Patrice O'Neal's?" Because I didn't ask her, like, "Oh, are you Patrice?" No. No fucking way I was going to do that shit. Because that's not something you have. But I asked Jimmy, I was like, "Is that fucking Patrice's fucking..." And he's like, "Yeah, dude, just don't be weird. Please don't be weird. Please don't be weird. It's New York. You're going to run into people like that." And I was like, "Dude, but I'm weird." And he's like, "Yeah, you are weird." So I was fucking weird. But, at least maybe she'll remember me as the weird dude, that didn't know his own name and somehow recognized her. But yeah, I mean, that was fucking crazy. It's weird to run into people that you know about in person, even though, like, it's just weird. It's just some weird shit. I don't know. At least I got the weird, awkward. I know what not to do now. Don't be like, "Are you the?" And not know what to say. Like, I gotta have, okay, don't mention their name after they already tell you their name, and then know your own name. Those are the two rules. You gotta get the names down, Michael. So next time, I'm glad that I wasted the really fucking embarrassing starstruck moment. I did that shit with her, so that'll never. Hopefully that doesn't happen again with some other people. Now I learned my lesson, and be prepared. Okay, your name's Michael Miller. Your name's Michael Miller. Your name's Michael Miller. And you go by Michael. Just say Michael. Why the fuck not? Just say Michael. So yeah, that was crazy. Tuesday night was crazy. And this Lady Gladys, I mean, this is really interesting. I mean, I don't want to be too, it was the same thing when I started, barking for Jimmy. It's not something that I want to, because every single thing that happens when now that I'm first starting out, like, every single thing that happens, I feel like it's such a big deal. But I realize, like, I've been doing this for 2 months. Nothing is going to be a fucking big deal yet. Nothing, nada, zip. nothing's going to be a big deal. I just got to keep doing it, get more experience, meet more people, because I'm starting to realize that it's all about connections and valuable connections too. So when someone's funny, I tell them, hey, you're funny. When I get a chance to talk to someone one-on-one, I talk to them one-on-one. And it's really weird. It's going out of my comfort zone. I'm not really a super social person, believe it or not, with other people, especially if I don't know them that well. So it's going out of my comfort zone, but that's really all it is. I realize that's really all it is for this business, and Jimmy's been showing me that more than anything. Not by like him telling me, but just by watching the way that he moves and stuff. Because everybody fucking knows Jimmy because Jimmy does these shows. He's very charismatic. He talks to people. So he even told me that like to be the guy, you got to just stand next to the guy until you become the guy. That's his favorite thing to do. He just likes to fucking walk out while I'm barking and give me his little quips of wisdom. I think it gets him off. But no, they're helpful. A lot of times they're helpful. So Al was barking with me last night, which by the way, I'm fucking worried about Al. Jesus Christ. Last night he didn't go on, but he was barking with me, and he was very disillusioned with class yesterday as well about how much of a waste of time it was. And he was telling me about, he came here and he's paying all this money, and his parents trusted him to come. He's feeling a lot of the feelings I was feeling on here a couple times, but he paid all this money to come here and he hasn't made shit. And he was like, this is the first time I saw him like really kind of like sad and worried. I was like, oh shit, Al. And then he wasn't in class today, and I haven't seen him all day, and neither is Abhishek. So fucking Al, don't do this shit, dude. Don't do this shit. Now we're worried about it. Because with Abhishek, we walk after we were barking, me and Al walked to my dorm, and then we were like, oh, peace, dude, and then Al walked home. When that happens with Abhishek, when I walk home with Abhishek, and then Abhishek walks home, but I don't have to worry about fucking Abhishek, unless Abhishek gives me a reason to worry, you know what I mean? He's like, I hate myself. Then I'll worry about him. But Al, like, even if Al isn't feeling bad, like, Al's a little guy. I don't want Al to get, like... I don't want Al to get taken. I don't want to have to go like Liam Neeson on some motherfuckers. I don't want to do that shit. Al needs to let me know. Al needs to give me a I'm home text so I can sleep at night. Fucking Al, man. I hope he listens to this, dude. I hope he does. No, I hope this is the only one he doesn't listen to, because Al's the only one that listens to all these. I don't know why. He likes it. He can't sleep at night, so he just listens to shit. He's like, might as well listen to this fucker talk. So yeah, it was a crazy night. And I met this other guy, Dane, last night, who was just a comic, I think a couple years older than me, but he was really fucking funny. He was barking with me, and he went on. I didn't see him on stage, but he saw me on stage, and he said I got a good set. But before that, we were barking outside, and he just fucking made me laugh so hard. He was a really funny guy, and he would just like, because I'm barking, I'm like, hey, there's a free comedy show, you interested? You can come inside. And then they're like, oh no, it's like totally free, and they're like, no. I'm like, all right, have a good night. But it doesn't always work. But before he talks to them, he'll guess their name based on nothing but appearance. He'll be like, hey, Albert, and they're like, I'm not Albert, but I guess hey, Albert, free comedy show, free comedy show. And it just makes me laugh so hard. He's like, Felix, and I'm like, oh god damn it. I don't know if that's how you get him in, but yeah, Felix, there's a free comedy show right now. And they're always like, and they start to walk faster. But yeah, he was really funny, and I really fucking love this. I don't know if anybody can tell, but I really fucking love this. Even though I'm not good, it's very ambiguous where this is leading. I've done it for, not as much as I'd like to. I've been trying to do it every day, though. Now I'm trying to get back on that schedule, or at least I'm going to the Den every night at least, and then doing some mics on top of that. But I really fucking love this. Like, I get off on this, meeting new people and exchanging contact information. It's just get a boner every time I meet someone, metaphorically. So, oh my god, this week has just been crazy. I didn't film the sketch last night because I feel like that'd be such a weird thing to do after a whole thing happened with my family, for me to put out a funny video and be like, hey, I'm so fat. Like, I'm gonna give it a little while and just, be respectful. And try to remember, you know what I mean? try to remember and not be so selfish for a little while, because I'm going home and I'm gonna try not to be selfish when I'm home and not work on stuff or do what makes me happy. I'm gonna my family hasn't seen me in 3 months and they really miss me, so I'm just gonna try to spend a lot of time with them, and when I can, I'm gonna see some of my friends that I miss a lot. That's what I'm gonna do for me while I'm home, is I'm gonna see some of my friends that I miss a lot. So yeah, I mean, here we are in the New York City. I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with myself. But I mean, I think for the most part, is that it? I guess I can talk about the culture of NYU at the moment with fucking Donald Trump getting elected president. It is 100 times crazier than you could possibly imagine. I get the fear. I get the and as a white guy, I'll never be able to relate to the point where I need to relate to understand unless I force myself, because this isn't something that happens in my life. You know what I mean? I don't have to feel prejudice. You know what I mean? Because I mean, shit's fine for me. Shit's fine for me as of right now, so I don't have to like worry about that. But the problem with NYU is that it's all just white people crying. That's all it is. It's all it is. I haven't seen anybody that isn't white cry at all. And I know I said that about Keese last week, but nobody that isn't white has cried. Nobody. We were at the dean of Tisch. We had to go to this plenary on Monday night, and the dean of Tisch was like, I know this is a struggling time for all of it, and the room was like silent, and everybody was like, and like Abhishek was making jokes, so I was like, please Abhishek, just please don't make jokes. I don't want people to look at us and think that we're all assholes, but oh god. So she's like, I know it's a tough time, and the one thing that got me, I broke a little bit. She was like, and now this is your chance as artists to express your feelings and head the revolution. And she's like, so write and draw and film and act. And I couldn't do it. Like, I have utmost respect for actors, but when you're acting a revolution into fruition, it's just, oh Jesus Christ, oh, this is so enabling. This school is so overly enabling. That's the problem. You just gotta let these people know that they're shit, and that they're gonna be shit for a while, and that the whole way you get better is because you know that you're shit. But if you're just like, you can make a difference by acting. It reminds me, you know what it fucking reminds me? It reminds me of South Park's, the South Park guys movie, the Team America. Act, Gary. Just act. So NYU's been a shitstorm. I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. I get people that are scared, but I don't get white dudes that are crying and shit. Like, what am I gonna do? I was like, well, you're fine, all right? Maybe we should start about how we can help the other guys out. You are fine, dude. I mean, yeah, that is the situation at NYU. It was the film class that I went to. He asked about how everybody was doing. Everybody's doing. Thursday was weird. Thursday was my essay class, and we have a very liberal teacher, Ms. Lewis, and that's actually my favorite class, right, in the essay class, because like it's the only class where it's like I feel like I'm learning, because we're reading essays and we're talking about social issues, and even though I might not agree with everything, I really do feel like we're learning. It's very small, so it's discussion based, and I really fucking like the class. I don't like doing homework for it, but I really like the class, and it's my favorite class. Because I don't really like the film classes as much, because like I said, it's so ridiculously enabling. But on Thursday, we basically didn't have class because we talked about our emotions after. Like I said, I do get it. I do understand. It's why is white people crying so funny? Just in any situation, white people crying is so funny. I think Bill Burr might have talked about this. But he's so fucking right that white people crying is so goddamn funny, and no one, I can't explain it. I don't think he explained it either, but I feel him 100%. There's never been anything funnier than seeing a white people just cry hysterically, especially over this. Like, oh man, maybe people are just more empathetic than I am. Maybe when they cry, they truly are crying for other people. But I don't know. I've never been able to do that. Maybe that's why I'm a heartless fucking bastard, and I didn't cry yesterday. I feel like I should have, but I wasn't gonna try to force tears or anything because I feel like that's even worse. Like forced empathy is even worse in my opinion. But yeah, I mean that's the political, social climate in NYU. Just trying to get through the day without, breaking. You know what I mean? Breaking my stone face because I don't wanna laugh when people are really upset. I really don't want to do that. So yeah, I mean, today in class, some kid. This is film school for you. In class, some kid. The teacher asked about the theme of a movie. He's like, "So what would you call the theme of this movie, or how would you explain the theme of this movie?" And the kid goes, so he has a British accent. He's like, "So you mean for a thematic perspective?" And Abhishek just laughed out loud. I was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna break. What do you think the theme is? Oh, you mean from a thematic perspective?" I was like, "Yeah, probably from a thematic perspective. Probably not from anything that isn't related to theme. You probably want to stick to theme if he asks you about the theme." So that's film school for you. That's NYU. That's the climate. Hopefully we don't die. I don't think we are. I'm not going to cry about it. Neither should you. Just look to tomorrow. I like this. I like the dark. I think it went by quicker because this is kind of a shorty. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer than this, but it's kind of shorty. I think I've said everything I want to talk about. Maybe I'll remember something and be like, "Oh, I'm a fucking idiot," and then talk about it later. But I think I got through everything. Yeah, I mean, I'm going home. We're going to see how that is. The next podcast will be back in the NPR on Wednesday. So, yeah, fuck it. I might record it on my iPhone. So if I do that shit, please don't, like, it might be bad quality, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to fucking do it because if I can't bring my mic, I can't bring my mic. So, yeah, this is Michael Miller tuning out from OMM. I don't even know what episode. I think this is 8 or 9. I don't know, 8. I think it's 8. So yeah, coming to you November 16th. Holy shit, November 16th. Yeah, I hope my grandma rests in peace, and I think that's about it. I'm gonna play my Little Road Flows music and get the fuck out of here because I got class in 20 minutes. It is 6 p.m. Michael Miller. Out.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm just like a boat upon a winding river, twisting towards an endless black sea, further and further, drifting away from where I want to be. Who